Digital Animation 2. Tonight's schedule, we'll talk about the announcements, and then we'll go over, review the week 4 assessment, and then at 7:15 we'll review week 3 submissions. And let me know if I can show yours. And most of you have communicated, but sometimes I'm not exactly sure. We'll take a break and then discuss buttons, and then we'll do work with students at 8:30. All right, and let's see. The announcements for this week, I've posted them, but I just want to bring your attention to them. And that is this, there is a Creative Cloud. You probably have seen this by logging in. This one attachment here. It's a meeting with a man by the name of, I remember, he's from Adobe, and this is Scott Trudeau, and this is on tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. And so this is something that you can attend, and the information is right there on the picture, the location of the session. Okay. And what else? There's one other I think I wanted to go over. Wanda Bryant's is going to be in the Student Success Center during these times. So you need to go see her. This would be the time to do it. My schedule this week, we're releasing some software Wednesday night, and so I'm rescheduling Wednesday nights for tomorrow night. And let's see, I posted an announcement about that. And the other announcement is that I'm going to be available on Saturday every hour, on the hour, to help you. Right here. I'm going to help you. Give me a call if you want to meet on the hour, and then we can, if you can call me on my cell phone, and then we can go in and to the live lecture room, work online together. Yep, tomorrow night. Oh, yes, I have. You're talking about the bugs that are in 2015. We worked really hard on Friday to kind of sort out what was going on. The symptoms of the bug that Phil is talking about is that when you output your HTML file, in fact, it'll show up in a couple of these submissions here. It doesn't show, and I'm supposed to contact Adobe to see if they have a bug fix for that. But don't worry about it. It won't affect your grade. Just make sure you submit your .fla file, because the .fla file doesn't have the problem when you run it, but it's only when you publish it in HTML and JavaScript. And the symptoms of the bug is that it'll just be a blank page. Has anybody seen that? My guess is whoever is upgraded to Adobe Flash 2015, they're seeing that. Anybody? Who's seen that? I saw it probably 3 or 4 submissions. Now don't worry. It's just, hopefully, maybe you have Adobe Flash 2014, Adobe CC 2014 still on your machine. If so, you can try opening your FLA file, fact, I did that with one that was having a problem. I had the FLA, and I opened it with Adobe Flash CC 2014, and it opened up, and we then published it, and it published and worked fine. So again, if you don't have 2014 still or never did, it's all good. So Phil, you say you want to talk to me about that at the end of the class, and what is that? Drew, you're asked what's the question. The question is if you have 2014 or if you're experiencing the problem of having a blank page. If you are experiencing a problem, try to go back to 2014. Yeah, 2014 does not have the bug. Yeah, I was debugging it, and I think it has something to do with the JavaScript that's being written. By the way, I posted this direct link because it was late in the week. I didn't post it before because I knew that you had to watch all of the second lecture, and then I just posted it just to facilitate people going directly to it if they needed to. Directly to not the original explanation of masks, but the explanation of the assessment itself. Let's see, I want to Kendra, yeah, definitely a bug. When you run your Flash and it works and you can see the animation, and then when you run your when you publish it and then run it and it doesn't work, and then you have a problem. I don't know, Maria, but that's a question we can look at during the break. All right, so one of the other things that is happening this week is for you to post to, this is the same links that we've had in past weeks, to post your reflection on this course. And if you could post your reply here, that would be awesome. We're also doing the instructor evaluation this week, and you can post that information too. Associate Dean reads that, I read that, and we get together in ways to make the course better. All right, so this week, it's pretty straightforward. The assessment is to just, after reviewing the feedback from week 3's assignment, finish up your animation and tweak any refinements so it can be published and posted in your web portfolio. And that's pretty much all we have to do this week. So I decided to use a lot of time in helping people to review their review where it's at and see what we can do to improve. So this is the week 4 assessment, and the rubric I'm waiting on from the associate dean, and I want to just make sure I grade according to that. So you'll see that posted here when I do the grading, and you'll see what the parameters are of. I expect that will be live tonight, the rubric. So. Yep, and people were asking about the extra credit, and last week I mentioned there was an extra credit, and does everybody have the information on that? All right. Now, there's no requirement to have play and pause buttons for your animation. Frankly, I think that's overkill. It's, but and I like watching an animation and just seeing it go. But we'll be going over that in part 2 tonight. Andrew brings up a good point about making it right if they need to stop and read the bio. That's an interesting point, Drew. And I had originally assumed that students would just delay the page, but that's a good point. Frankly, I prefer the delay, the length of the. But I won't mark you down at all. But I was hoping that the animation would just be done with delays, meaning not a delay, but just an extended amount of time. When I say delay, but I just mean that slide is showing for an extended amount of time. So I don't think we have any questions on the animation. I also thought I'd offer for you to be able to submit your work and get some feedback and then resubmit it. So if you feel like doing that this week, go ahead and do that. As far as the reviewing the feedback, tonight I'm going to be working on that. And hopefully by midnight tonight, we'll have that all live, all returned, and all the feedback given. That's not, let me get rid of that one, that page I don't need. And so, oh, Dave asked the question, is if it's okay, I'm going to resubmit week 3 with the newer revisions to show tonight. So, yeah, Kim was asking if it is, how do you add an MP3 file to Flash and get it to loop? All right, so let's now begin looking and reviewing other student submissions. One thing I could do is, instead of opening them up, see, here's an example of the problem right here. This is this animation was done in Adobe Flash 2015, and so it only shows white. And when we did some troubleshooting, we looked into the code. We saw some errors here, and we didn't really know how to solve the problems, but this is the result here. So I'm not going to go into trying to debug that, but hopefully Adobe either has a bug fix, or I can figure out what the problem is and edit the code so it works. Tonight I'm going to be working with an engineer, and I'm going to see if we both can figure that out. So if that's the case, all I'm going to do is open up the the FLA file. And I can still view the animation. Now, this is interesting because Adobe Flash 2014 is my default installed version. And this error message is coming up simply because it's saying you're trying to open up an FLA file that is versioned to the Adobe Flash, a later version. It's created with a later version. So it's giving me this error message saying, are you sure you want to open this up? Beware, because if you do, that import process of the FLA file will remove any non-supported functionality in that any functionality that was in this FLA file that was not supported in 2014. So so I realized that, but this is the only way that I can really see your work or grade your work. It's the published file that's messed up. Another option is because I've got both 2014 and 2015 installed, I could instead, let me see if I can show you what I could do instead. That is to right click, open with, I don't think I uninstalled 2015. I thought I had installed it here. No, frankly, it's been a couple days, and I thought I left it on, but I think I uninstalled it. So I'm not telling everybody to uninstall it. I'm just saying that's what I did. So I can't open it up in Adobe Flash CC because it's not installed. I'm just going to go ahead and try it here. So here Bree is, let me change the screen setting. She's going 10 frames per second, and so I'm hoping that she'll slow that down. So she has some fades and some motion tweens. One of the things I liked about this is she introduced some characteristics about herself, definitely a self-promotional movie where she talks about herself, and a little transition there. Movement. Another thing that I liked about this is that she spent some focus on individual pictures. I'm not a real fan of having multiple pictures on a slide at a time. In fact, I don't know how many of you were able to watch the feedback that I gave. I worked with Ashley Stevens and Drew, and Phil also showed up Friday night. And in that, I discussed the value of a single slide and the zooming and the panning of a single image per slide. It just gets busy, and you really need to give your viewer enough time to really view and sort out what the picture is, and that's very valuable time, and it's very worthwhile. You don't, if you just flash through your pictures, you really kind of cheapen your own work, meaning you're suggesting that it can be viewed quickly, and that's not really the message that you want to convey. The message you want to convey is, this is very interesting, and this will take some of your time to sort out and view. And so I recommend that you be prudent about that, and honor the value of your images. And another thing, I don't know, again, how many of you watched the video, but I talked about the Ken Burns effect, and Ken Burns became very popular because he did with photography what I was advocating Ashley consider doing with her images. And what Ken Burns became popular in doing is doing pans and zooms of single pictures, sometimes taking different single shots of different portions of the same picture, and then building a story about that. He would use that. And so I suggested Ashley consider doing something like that. If you want to learn more about the Ken Burns effect, I'll paste this link, and maybe what I'll do is play this video. I don't know if you can watch that. This is a very short video, but I'm going to explain, because you could do this. See, there's a zoom, and you could do that with your image, one of your images. You'll see here, this is very short, and I'm going to show you the principles as it goes by. Just a zoom. Now, here's different pictures of different frames and viewpoints of the same picture. And I thought that maybe you have a very detailed image to show, and you could do something similar where you zoom in on parts. You want to draw their attention to certain parts of your image. And so play around with the pan, the zoom, to give a little more time and focus on the images of your portfolio as they go by. All right. Anybody have any questions on panning and zooming? We go over panning and zooming in that video. Let me see. I'm going to double click on the HTML. This is where she's at thus far. We talked about the usage of the logo. Just so I can talk, I'm going to mute it. And she wanted to do a word chart, word graph. That's what this is really an interesting way of revealing, talking about yourself. A word, I think they're called a word map. And so here, zooming in, she said that diagonal thing was very difficult. She considered doing a motion between along that line. And the usage of words, it's really good to use words, but at the appropriate time. Normally, you want to show the image and let them process the image and then use a word, but frankly, the exact opposite also works in some situations. So I really like that, where you zoom in, and she was doing some pans there a minute ago. I think that's an illustration. Maybe it's, I don't know, it's a placeholder for it. It's her headshot there. So she created a fictitious design studio, and these are individuals that are fictitious individuals, and she's introducing her staff in this self-promotional movie. So instead of just being self-promotional, she actually made it promotional of her studio. It was a fictitious studio. Oh, great idea. Kim suggested we go through the ones of people in the lecture. I think that's a great idea. Thank you, Kim. Didn't even think of doing that. Okay, Drew, you want to be first up? It's a little hard for me to tell the wording of. You haven't submitted a week today. Okay. Sam, if you want, let's see, Sam. Okay, Pam, do you see yours? I extracted it here. There it is. Pam, are you good? Is that okay? Okay, great. So, see, I like that. A lot of movement there, piecing together the image. This I really, really liked. She did coding, and by the way, if you have any suggestions for anybody, just go ahead and share them. See, you changed that because last week you just had the background of the image of the code, and then the background of the code, and then you brought in different things in the monitor, and then, so you changed that. Why did you just decide to do that differently, Pam? You can turn on your mic if it would help. Because you went to, oh, you like this one better, okay. Definitely shows a lot more code this way. Okay. Drew says he'd like to know how to do all this. So, Drew, those were animations. That's the one image is an animated. It's a motion tween. The code is a motion tween on its own. In fact, why don't I just bring up the HTML file? So you can see all the tweens, these tweens that are going on here, and they are in the various layers. So got a big background layer. It's present during this whole animation. 8 frames per second. Reverse PC logo. So as you can see, in the different items are on their own layer, and they move in one by one. I can just turn these off. You can see what they, because each of them are animated, they have their own layer. Yep, if you look at the library, it's loaded with items. Is there anything else that you want to see on this one, Drew, on how to do that? It's a motion tween, and each of these keyframes represents a particular location. So the black screen, black phone, black tablet are coming in. The text right there, text any. Okay? Okay, good. Yep, very well done. Okay, David. Okay, David said that he just submitted one that I'll get that during the break. Or else, David, what I could do is just show your current one, unless you don't want me to. Let's see. Finished one is much better. Okay, I'll Go get that during the break. Okay, so Dave, Kim. Kim, I liked yours. I like how it's turning out. See, you're an expert on masks. That's for sure. Excellent. You really got that down, which is good. It's consistent, and I like that. And this is interesting, coming in from different sides. Ah, that's a nice one. Those are nice. Nice masks. It's like a big circle creating that. See that? I like this, Kim. It's you got a lot of content, and that shows a lot of talent. Excellent. So let me see. Recommendations. Let's see. You might consider using words, bringing in motion between words to give a little more direction during the slideshow. Breaking it up into categories. But I thought you did that already, so to a certain extent, I think you already had some of that. Yeah, it was great masking. Oh yeah, that's a good tip, Kim. Phil saying slowing it down, and I think that would be wise to slow down your frame rate. And let me bring it up again. It's nice to do an effect, but not to end it right away, because it's kind of feels like you're opening up the curtains of a stage, and immediately the second that the curtains are open, you shut them again for the next act. And so what I'm saying is it would be nice to just add another second, or maybe just 1 second to the final position here. So right there, hold it for about a second. 1001, bam. That was good. 1001. Yeah. So I recommend that, because by fading out immediately, you cheapen your work. You want to I say cheapen the work, but what I mean to say is the more time that you give your viewer to view your work, the more valuable. You could almost get to the point where it's exaggerated, that you hold it there almost till it's a little bit annoying. But the good thing of it is it gives you a chance to look at it without any effect happening. Okay, that would be my advice. Oh yeah, some people I think the minimum is 30. A minute and a half, I think if you're close, it's good enough. But I really want you to at least have 30 seconds. Let's see if Phil. So here's an example of Phil's out export. And if you inspect the element, it'll have the same error messages in here. You know, we spent some time debugging it, and what this is it's having a problem loading the image, and how they do images when there's an animation involved. It's not an image tag, and you kind of might expect to see an image tag, but it's not. It's a combination of the image. It's done in JavaScript, and it's a combination of the image plus the a JSON file. I wonder what a JSON file is. Well, it's like metadata, and a JSON file accompanies each image, and this metadata is like JavaScript type information, and it explains that it wants this image, and it has frames of. You can see that these are like corner. They're like dimensions here, but there's a bug somewhere, and makes the whole thing stop. But I think it has something to do with the JavaScript. In fact, let's open this up with Dreamweaver. See, I got CC 2015. Oh, I think I've heard reports that one of the Adobe Flash installs didn't have Adobe Flash. Adobe CC installs from the. I heard one student reporting that it was not providing Adobe Flash CC in the download. So we'll have to troubleshoot that too. So here you have the JavaScript. These are the individual ones that come from outside sources. This is yours. Let me show you the JavaScript is here. You can see it's referencing the song, and down in this area it's turned it into a sprite, and sprites are like built-in animation. And so there's a bug in there somewhere. As you can see, all this animation is done in JavaScript coding here. Something goes wrong. Anyways, for what it's worth. All right. Let's look into your FLA file instead. This is that error message. Nice fade. Fade in, fade out. Nice usage of the logo down here, lower left. Look at that. Timed with the text animation. That went by a little too fast. So are you a photographer also? Awesome. So you might consider some zooming. We went over it with Ashley. I think the speed is pretty good. There's a nice motion tween. That's good. Anybody have any feedback? Nice continuity with your logo. I like how you have a little mini version of your logo. Someone recommended to cut through the circle bits that run through the G and the E. I think she's referring up in this area here. You can't remember how to do what? Are we talking about removing?
I was trying to remember how to do the cut in the circle there so it would stop before the G and the E and the E down there and leave that blank.
Oh, it's past our break. Let's see, where are we at? We're about halfway through.
Hey, Phil.
Yes.
Let's go ahead and take our break, and 10-minute break, and resume at 8:02. And what I'll do is I'll go and get Dave's download. And was there something else? I think somebody else had another question. I was going to go over that and break also.
Somebody was going to say something to me and I can't remember who it was.
In Illustrator, use the shape builder tool.
It's 4 megabytes.
Take like a circle and put it underneath your GE and your E in design. And then select both that circle and your outer circle and use your shape builder tool to cut it out.
Oh, okay. I was trying to use the eraser and that wasn't working. I'm trying to remember. I think I did design this in Illustrator. So I'll have to get back in there and try. That's why I lightened the circles to make it more of a gray, so the letters would stand out a lot more on it because I could not remember how to do that. Thanks, Kendra. Thank you. Chip, one question I had instead of waiting to the end. I was going to get rid of 2015 and put 2014 back on the system. I'm just concerned that there's going to be problems on that. And when I went into the section on our site on Independence University to download the software, 2014 is gone. Well, luckily I have it on a jump drive. So I was just concerned about not getting the school's license if I reloaded that back on there. But they also said that I'll have to completely eliminate 2015. I don't know if I want to go through that or not. What do you think?
I have consulted with the Associate Dean about this issue, and then she forwarded it on to Caroline Norton, who's overseeing this. And this problem or the upgrade issues, and our current plan is to not go back and to press forward with using Adobe Flash, the 2015 CC. And she's asked me to be responsible for contacting Adobe to see what might be the problem. Dave just stated he has all three, CS6, CC14, and CC15 on his machine. Dave, when you downloaded the download from the student site, did it have the CC the Adobe Flash in the 2015 installer? So what I don't understand is if people have upgraded, maybe it's left Adobe Flash. For those of you who have, I wonder, you know what might be going on is, let's see, it might be that people have the Adobe Flash 2014 on their machine, and then when they download from the school website, it brings down new components that might be shared components with the previous version, and it would bring the updated ones. So it's just a little bit difficult to sort out.
See, my problem was they told me, because I had 2016 and 2014, or I mean I had CS6 and 2014 on there, and yeah, they kept saying upgrade, upgrade, upgrade. So finally I did it, and the day after I did it, I got the email, oh, don't upgrade to 2015. So everything ended up having to wipe everything off to reload. You know, they came back and said, yeah, you've got to put it on there. You've got to, load it on there. So the IT person told me, no, I have to clean everything off to reload it. And then the IT person I talked to today, when I was saying about putting the 2014 on there, told me I had to go to Adobe's, Adobe's website and have it do a complete clean of Adobe software on my computer and then load the 2014. So, I mean, I was like, I'm so concerned about that because I don't want to mess everything up.
Let's see, what should we do? I think we should just do what Caroline is recommending, and to
just stay with 2015 and go from there.
Let's just wait for them to sort out the issues. I'm expecting that they'll sort it out eventually.
Like they did with Zoom.
Well, what did they do with Zoom? What do you mean?
Well, when Zoom first started, we were going through all sorts of problems with it. You know, trying to go through classes and everything. There were so many problems at the beginning that, you know, it kind of reminded me of what version was that after XP? Windows XP. Then there was Vista. Thank you. Yeah, that was like the biggest headache around. So that's what I kind of felt like Zoom was like Vista.
This, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pop out real quick. I'll be right back.
Is everybody back from the break? By the way, there were some problems with uploads to Adobe to the submission box, and it's really strange because I don't know what, when I would click and do the download, it would end up, oh, I don't know, it would act like it wasn't even there. So I think everybody's back. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and finish up. Let's see. Stop sharing. Resume share. Okay, good. So let's finish up showing off our pieces. And I think I downloaded Dave's. So let's see. I think I'll just quit so I can come up and download. Trying to find the download. I downloaded it. It was a large file. And so I let it download. Then I started working on something else while I waited for it. Yeah, there it is. Fade to black is a really good transition, by the way. In fact, Ken Burns uses that a lot. Yeah, the fade to black is just really effective. I like this one. That was a nice image, by the way. Very good. Yeah, Kendra asked if we can go over her rough draft next. You bet. Nice, very nice. Let's see, is Kendra. I think that you're in the section 1. Very ambitious. Telling a story here about logo design. And you've done all your drawing. Did you do it in Adobe Illustrator and then import it? I can't recall. Or did you just do the drawing in Adobe Flash? Okay. I really like that, how you do the cursor movement. Yeah, I really like how you do that too. How you fade in that image. What does the pig, I'm not sure why you show the pig image though. That was one question I had.
All right. So this logo that you see first was my first draft of the Pobel logo. And I kept thinking, there's something wrong with it. There's something wrong with it. What's wrong with it? Oh my God, it looks like a pig. And so I redid my logo and it looked much more like a dog.
Yeah.
Once I get the sounds in there, you'll hear, it's a pig.
Oh, good. I think your transitions are working well. That I saw that little jump right there, but
Yeah, I'm still working on those. You and I worked on it last week a little bit, and I'm doing some more of the panning and zooming.
uh-huh.
It's just taking a while.
Now, why did it jump there?
Because the table and the computer are separate images in each of those frames, and so it wasn't placed in exactly the same spot.
I see. Right there. Now you could, on one frame, you could copy and then move over to the next one. Let's see. And then just paste and it would reproduce the same location.
Yeah, I'll actually be using the same table and everything throughout the entire, except for a couple of places. So hopefully that'll help some.
Okay. All right.
But looking at that first logo now, do you see the pig?
Yes, uh-huh. I'm going to give you one little idea, and that is you can quickly fade in a dog, but then, or you can go like fade a dog, fade a pig, fade a dog, and then leave the pig. So, you can kind of see she's seeing in her mind, seeing dog, pig, pig. And that would probably solve the problem of people being a little unsure. But you said you're going to add some audio. What kind of audio are you adding?
It's my voice with the question marks. It'll be
Yeah.
and then when it fades in with the pig, it's a pig.
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Anybody have any additional feedback? I don't suppose you want to use any fades. From scene to scene.
Once I get all the transitions fixed,
Yeah.
I'll bring it to you and we can go over maybe some ideas about whether or not I need fades between the scenes.
I'm wondering maybe a really quick fade in. Also possibly fade black really quick. That actually is well done, that pig head. Because you're telling a story, and it might be an easy way to smooth the transition from picture to picture. You could do it fairly quickly, fade to black, and then or just, yeah. Okay, very good. So that was Kendra. Maria, yes, no, yes? I thought I had it. But maybe I was wrong. Yeah. I'm not sure. Let's try it. All right, you were just getting your beginning image in last week. All right, let's move on. Thank you. Kendra, yes, no, yes? I think I'm working with Kendra after class, so let's hold off on that. And then Miranda, yes? Yeah, I remember you and I were meeting. Yep. Okay, let's look. Miranda, yes, no, yes? Okay, we'll pass. All right, sounds good. No worries at all. All right, it's time for us to work on, there's other ones here, but the people aren't present, so I think I'll just avoid showing those, and it's time to work on buttons. Okay. So, buttons. There's some good resources on the internet for creating buttons. I'm going to use this one, and it's not, the thing is with the new version of Adobe Flash, not all tutorials are are rewritten, and that's the simple thing with new versions of software. Documentation is not rewritten. And even the Adobe Flash's website will not update their help files online because some of the features haven't changed very much, or if any, on previous releases of their code. So so that way, they take advantage of previous. They only rewrite the pages where there's new features or the features have changed. So, all right. So if everybody wants to do this with me, or just watch, just so you understand a little bit about buttons, is they are layers. They have 4 frames, and the frames represent the state. Okay, so the state of the button. So and because it's a button, it also has scripting. So we're going to use this tutorial to do that. So first step is insert new symbol. Buttons are not required at all. These are optional. There's just been a request to go over buttons, so don't worry about this. I'm only going over this because of the request to go over it. Does that answer your question, Kim? Okay. No, we've already covered all the content that that we need. You know, even audio is an optional thing. So we've saved for week 4 optional things because weeks 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, that's right. But the music is optional. So we've saved for week 4 all tutorials on anything that was optional in the animation. Weeks 1, 2, and 3 have covered it covered the things that are required, such as inserting images and inserting text and tweens, and so all the rest of this is optional. Does that answer your question, Kim? The music is even optional. Okay. So file, new, choose HTML5 canvas. All right. So first step, just right away insert a new symbol. And insert new symbol. And here we have 3 different types of symbols that we can create: movie clip, button, and graphic. And depending on the last one that you created, it will default to that one. We've been creating movie clip symbols up till now, but this time we're going to create a button. Okay. These are all defaulted. This is not ActionScript linkage is when you connect the button itself with ActionScript language. But because we are Adobe, because we're using the HTML5 canvas, there's not an ActionScript connection. Okay. All right, so now what's happened is you can see that let me see if I can reduce it some. It's just going to take it all up. You can see here, scene 1 is the outer scene here, the stage. And I just exit out of, there we go. I double click the symbol once to come back into it. So this is editing the symbol. You know that you're editing the symbol when the last thing that's here is to the right of scene 1. So if you want to exit out of the edit mode of symbol, you can either click here or click here to exit out of that. So next thing you want to do is make sure properties are being shown. And let's bring this down to 10 by 10. And okay. It's a little bit different view when you're dealing with buttons. So type a name for your symbol and choose the button behavior from the type and drop down button. So we just called it symbol 1, but if you want, you can call it button. Type a name for your symbol, and then in this example, they wanted to, so they suggested button home. It's called camel case, where they have the lowercase here. They call it camel case because it creates a hump when you have words that are capitalized. So now you can see this is not Adobe Flash CC. So we're going to have to modify accordingly. Looks like it's Adobe Flash CS6. Click OK and flash in your symbol editing mode, and that's what this is going on here. We are in symbol editing mode. This here is the name of the symbol we're in. And here is the up, over, down, and hit. These are the 4 frames. And they're states, they're button states. The 4 states are driven by a user's cursor position, up, over, down, and hit. So this state determines the target area of the button. You have the hit state. If you have a particular dainty button that might be hard to select, and the hit state is an area around the button that is alive or active and enabled to respond to down or click that's larger than the button itself. Okay, if it's not already open, choose Window and Properties. Now you can do the Window and Properties here, but you might just want to go over here and click Properties like that. So this is the property inspector for this particular button. that another way, just by right clicking on that, you can bring up the properties itself. So here in W Flash, the symbol created in the library, you do a right click, bring it up in here, and come back to this same properties page. Next is to create the shape size for your button. And when creating buttons, you normally would use the rectangle tool with a corner radius of 50 pixels to get an oval shape. But I'm just going to demonstrate with the rectangle tool with the default settings. So that's slightly different than what we can do with here in Adobe Flash CC 2014. Here we have the properties for the button. By the way, the other one I had done was the stage, and so here we can do the small, let's say we go 100 by 50. Change that to 100 by 25 just to be consistent with their tutorial. Oh, let me unlock this. Next, you do the alignment, and the Apple K opens the align panel. That's just the align panel there. Click this Align to Stage checkbox. So this one will go center. And then we can do the new layer. And here, and we just do that just so we can put the button text on it. double click that. And I just named it button text and button. You want to just have the text. I'm going to be consistent. Oh, button shape. I had it there a second ago. So let me grab the text tool here.